Hello everyone, I'm Bishi. This is Vampire Daddy, and today we're playing some more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Yeah, we're in episode 4. I've got my notes, I'm ready to go. I'm prepared for some more Ace Attorney. And we should be finishing the case today, actually. I think that we are very close to being done, and we'll probably move on to case 5 today, so we'll see. And then I don't know how many cases there are total in the game, but progress is progress. And then there's a second game I have to get through as well. I think it's fine that we're just playing Ace Attorney 24/7 right now, because I gotta get through this game. Let's see, the last thing that happened yesterday was Van Zeke's here, Vampire Daddy, is trying to make Natsume guilty of a crime that he most definitely is not guilty of. We discovered yesterday that the police officer moved the scene of the crime, but overlooked a bouquet that he gave his wife, and that was how we figured out that he moved it in the first place. Right now, we finally have the maid, Mrs. Garrideb, posing as a maid, on the stand. So we're about to get testimony from her, and I'm pretty sure she is accidentally the murderer, so I feel like this is probably gonna be the last cross-examination, so we'll see how long it takes me to get through, but yeah, here we go. Hey Dan, welcome in. Howdy. Alright, I think we'll just get started early today. Let's do it! We'll get more done than usual. Usually the first 30 minutes or an hour are just talking, but you know what? Not today. Not today. Alright. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garrideb. And I'm a juror and such like.
It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid, or what anymore. The board has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam?
Yes, my lord.
I love that I gave her the most annoying voice possible. I didn't even know how much I would be voicing this character when I first met her. Little did I know she might be the murderer. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me!
She's really jiggling. Her face! Oh my god. Chin up, Jody. Nothing to worry about now. I don't know who's speaking. Oh!
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
That's her husband. Her eyes are all sparkly.
Was it only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
But what about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Where'd she get the tea? She just has a crap ton of tea in, like, her little apron pockets. The tea kettle, the teacup, everything is all just in her pockets. Whenever she jiggles, you hear, like, clinking sounds.
Oh, John.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, John!
I presume you are Mr. John Garrideb. Yes, sir. Former Second Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers.
Oh, we're starting off strong today.
Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
Hey, PC Man, welcome in. Howdy.
A quiet life? Were you not engaged in any incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Ah, well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Cheerio!
The Battle of Garrideb.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd notice if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think.
Speaking of which, I don't think I've opened it and then flipped it around. Maybe there's an inscription on the blade that I didn't notice, so give me a second. There must be something. Why else would I be able to open it, right? No? Ah, shit. There goes that. There goes that theory. Alright. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to say about it. I noticed the end of it is blunt. I don't know if that's going to matter later. Okay. Alright. That's it. Okay.
Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast.
I like how he just put the pipe down and then picked it back up.
Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
Gnats don't have whiskers. Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here? I'm confused. Well, did the tip of the knife break off? I mean, it's possible. The thing is that the lady that was stabbed is alive. She didn't die. So I don't know if she's gonna have like a piece of metal stuck in her back. I wonder if they'll find that and then bring it like in the middle of the cross-examination, be like, oh, look what we found or something. I don't know. Chuck just now messaged that I'm live. Yeah, it's always so late. That's why sometimes I just go ahead and say something myself, but sometimes I forget or I don't feel like it. And then it's like, what's the point of having the automatic announcement if it's like 13 minutes late?
Well, I must say, I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
And Zeeks may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
Alright. Hey, Zoe, welcome in. The stream title is hilarious and I love it. Also, hi everyone. Yeah, Ryu versus Vampire Daddy. I was trying to think of a title sitting here like, what do I even call today's stream? I don't know. And then I thought of Van Zeeks. And then I thought Vampire. And then I thought people probably call him Daddy. I'm gonna say Vampire Daddy today. Okay. On the day you're referring to, the wife and I had a skirmish. Can't recall the reason.
Hold it!
I do. I can recall. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garrideb. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garrideb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to track it all up.
He didn't want us to know.
And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway.
His jaw is... he's like shaking.
A likely story.
These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet, and then they opened the window.
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, but the water main isn't connected yet. Oh, have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
That sucks.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
How often is she going to spill tea on him in the courtroom? Oh, I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it. She hasn't done it yet. Not in the courtroom, but I'm ready. I'm ready to yell. I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? They're not gonna admit it.
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
Did you say by Jove?
By Jove!
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garrideb.
Don't shoot! Sorry. I beg your pardon.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
He could have died that day. Ouch.
And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with every volley. Ah! Good grief, woman! We're not at home now. This is a court of law.
You thought you were safe? You thought you were safe just because you're in the courtroom? Tea spill what? Oh yes, please. Please be our tea spill counter today. Amazing. You know what's so funny? I could literally use my counter to do that. I could literally use my counter. It's fine. We won't do that. Accidental tea spill. Yeah, accidental. Here's number 1. Alright.
Oh, dearie me! Ever so sorry, dear.
What's she even doing with a teapot in here? Where'd it come from?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened,
Your pipe, sir.
Had this thing in my hand, as usual, at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in 2. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see. Your pipe was broken.
It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
Oh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss. I wonder what we should make of this account. It could be important. It's insignificant. I'm gonna say it's important because it proves that she was throwing heavy objects. The defense believes Mr. Garrideb's remarks just now to be of great importance significance. This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? So they're saying no?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Oh my god.
Very well. The court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Okay, so we still got something out of it. That's fine. Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Apparently it fell to the floor during a domestic dispute he had with his wife and broke.
I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Sasato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Let's do that.
Thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now if we could return to the crux of the matter.
After I look at this. Okay. Oh, there's something in... Oh! There's something in it! There's something in the pipe! Oh my god. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrideb's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. What is that? Is that the tip of the knife? Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Oh my god. The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. The tip is stuck in the pipe! This small piece of metal looks like it might be the tip of a knife blade. It's stuck inside the bowl of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! We got them red-handed! Alright. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade.
Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again.
Why can't they just say normal words? Why can't they be normal? Okay, let's look at the knife again. I wonder if, like, they'll say something now. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this?
Oh, that's the tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
Yes, and just maybe...
Oh my, it's a perfect fit.
Somehow, I just knew it. Yep. Alright, well there's our evidence. So now we have that. We've got it. Now we just gotta figure out when we need to use that. Hey Arkham, welcome. What's with all these fake words? They really put a lot into the world building. They really did. They just made up all these different words for no reason. Just to make my life harder. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed if one or two went missing. So maybe I'll respond to that. Or maybe this one. Okay, let's press on both first. Sorry? Would you care to elaborate?
Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle. You know the sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too, and then there's my leather work.
Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place. And we have dozens of things.
They sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times too, instead of a knife and fork.
I'm just imagining that. He's dual wielding. No. Oh! I missed it. Sorry. I was too busy laughing about him holding 2 knives at dinner. I don't even know what he said. His wife interrupted him with her tea spilling. Yeah, tea spilled 2. That was the second one, yeah. That was the second one. PC Man is keeping count for us. Oh yes, I saw the Miku figure in the Discord. She looks so cute. And for a prize figure, not only is it the size of a scale figure, but it's very high quality, and her base is a seashell. That is so cute. Yeah, I saw the picture. I don't have a Miku figure myself, but I thought she looked so cute. Reporting for 3D jury duty. I gotta steal that for one of my stream titles now. I have to stream this like all the time now until the next game I want to stream comes out, so I need title ideas. Thank you. Welcome in, Sadie. How you doing? Yes, good. Oh, currently in another game, so I'll do my best. Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, it's chat's job to keep track of how many times the maid wife lady burns her husband with the tea. All right, we're on 2 right now. Yeah, keep count. I know, I'm sorry, you guys gotta do math. I'm sorry. I can't do math, so y'all have to do it for me. Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive? Because they don't want to be found guilty for murder, maybe? Maybe? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Oh wait, no, they didn't murder her. Attempted murder? What would you even call that? Accidental assault? I don't know. Something. I'm so used to every case being a murder, I just say it, even though I know it wasn't a murder. She's not dead. Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Oh, a very sweet cat showed up on our porch today, so I'm having an allergy attack, but had lots of good kitty time. The sacrifice we make for good kitty time. Yeah, accidental attempted manslaughter? I don't know what the term would be exactly. Accidental stabbing through a window. Definitely getting for attempted murder on John, though. Yeah, that is legitimately attempted. Trying to burn him to death with tea. Is she making us do math? Streamer power trip for real. Oh, the cat is staying in our guest room because it's stormy here. Oh, that's sweet of y'all. Oh, I hope the kitty's doing good. That's sweet of you guys.
Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir!
That valley thing in the victim's back was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it.
Hold it!
So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent.
Objection!
You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established the accused is not responsible for the attack.
As if I could forget.
Only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream.
Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo.
What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists?
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say. But I can't see anything.
There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Ugh, if only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future.
Don't worry, I've got the answer.
That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident. Yes, I know. I know! I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. So for Soseki-san's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. I've got it! That old man's front-facing diamond shape is crazy, and then to the side it's a crescent moon. Yeah, so, I mean, typically all the characters in Ace Attorney have some kind of like a pun or a joke, right? So I guess their joke is that she represents the moon and he represents the sun. Oh, sorry. She represents the sun and he represents the moon. I got it backwards. He's the crescent moon and she is the sun. So she has like a wedding ring that has a sun on it, and then he has a ring with a moon on it. So that's why from the side he looks like a crescent moon, because it's literally like intentionally what they're doing with these two characters. It's giving Phineas and Ferb. Exactly, yes. Yeah, the hair and the beard look so weird because they're so pointy from the front. All right, so I think we react to the last thing he says. Let's save first. And let's do it. Let's present the piece of metal.
Objection!
Yes. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing.
You can't?
Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. He needs some glasses.
You must D very dizzy.
What is that? Tiny scrap of metal.
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. I wonder. No idea.
Oh, his name is also based on actual Holmes' story, The Adventure of the Three Garridebs. Oh, okay. See, yeah, y'all are gonna have to tell me all these Sherlock Holmes references, because I do not know enough about Sherlock Holmes to get any of them. All I know is Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. That's it. I thought his name was familiar. I didn't catch it at all. Not a bit.
And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
Ouch. I am.
Yes, I am. What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well, then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Take that!
Right here.
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blade sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. Eek. Oh! And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
Ooh. I only know Garrideb because after watching Lucy Liu as Watson in Elementary, I hyper-focused on Sherlock shit for a while. Completely understandable. Completely understandable. I never got around to watching that. I should have, though. Where is Phoenix Wright? And the frilly-collared twink. I am so sorry I forget his name. No, that's close enough. You might as well just call him that. Edgeworth. So this game is actually a prequel, so to say. This takes place in the 1800s. Basically, this character, Ryu, is Japanese, and he is here in Britain, acting as a lawyer on behalf of his friend, who has passed away. But basically, Ryu is the protagonist. He's from Japan. We're in Britain. And Ryu has to be a lawyer to prove himself, and to fulfill his friend's wishes, his late friend's wishes. So that's why you're not going to see Phoenix, you're not going to see Edgeworth, you're not going to see Maya. But basically, Ryu is like a stand-in for Phoenix, and then Susato, which is the girl with him, is a stand-in for Maya, essentially. So, yeah. And then, of course, Vampire Daddy, the prosecutor across from us, he's like the Edgeworth of this game. And he is canonically his ancestor. Okay, I wasn't sure about that 100%, but that's what I thought, that he was his ancestor. So here you go. This is ancient Phoenix. Yes. Bishi really played Ishin and said, damn, we're not ever leaving this time period. Exactly. And it was funnier when I was playing both at the same time because both games were in the 1800s, but completely different games, completely different genres. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I have to do a lot of different British accents because everyone is British in this game. So I'm really getting the hang of, like, several different types. That doesn't mean that they're any good, but I'm doing them. Yeah, warning, British. There's British in this game. Let's see. So it's a very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of the pipe. Ah! Good grief. Lord Van Zeeks. I don't believe it. Look at his pose. Come on. I don't know how people can play this game and not thirst for this character. He's just very thirst-coded. Like, yeah, the frilly collar remains, just a little less frilly. Isn't that kind of silly that, like, the frill is less and it's the 1800s? I mean, yeah, all the characters, all the British characters are absolutely terrible to Ryu, Susato, Natsume. It's just all across the board. I think maybe the judge is the only one that I haven't heard a lot from, but I don't know. But yeah, it's also the 1800s in Britain, so I think that's why they're all portrayed as terrible, because this is how they were, probably. Most likely. The jawline is jawline, it really is. I think the inspector was also kind of nice from what I remember. The one with the fish and chips? He was rude. I remember him being rude, but I don't know how bad. But no, I remember him kind of writing them off too, so I don't know. My hope is that, like, through the course of the game, the other characters start to, like, respect them more and stop saying terrible shit. Oh, we'll see. That would require character development. Why is he kind of serving with this pose? That's what I'm saying! He's serving with this pose! That's all I wanted to comment on. It just... That's it. That's it. Hey, Archer! Welcome. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was designed with thirst in mind. Hey y'all, how's it going? Yeah. He's clutching his badge, which is kind of cute. Yeah, he is clutching it, isn't he? It's like, what do I have? I have a hat. It's like this. My rainbow cowboy hat. Hands clawed! Big meaty claws! I don't believe it. Sorry. I don't believe it. Is that what he's doing? I gotta make my jawline. That's what he looks like. Oh, now I gotta wear it. It's been redeemed. Also, I don't know how many of y'all have seen these because I just started wearing them, but Ruuuvo crocheted me these little sprouts that I have on my headphones now. So, I'm growing. He's exposing his neck. As a vampire, he's showing weakness. It's just there, ready to bite. Any way of attaching it like a badge. Oh, if I have a safety pin, which I don't think I do. I often have random things on my desk, but I don't think I see that. Or maybe I could tape it. Let me see if I can use a bobby pin. I think technically. Oh. Where'd it go? We're gonna be here 20 minutes from now and I'm still gonna be trying to pin this to myself. The things I do for chat there. I almost want to cosplay this guy. Just because of his outfit and... I don't know. I mean, I have an Edgeworth wig. I don't know if I could use it for him, though. His bangs are kind of longer. I don't know. I gotta be Edgeworth first. I like Edgeworth. I love Edgeworth, actually. I gotta be him first. You could do the hair easily with your own hair, I feel like. Ooh! If I had it, like, completely grayed out. Just not that color exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Like, when my hair dye washes out, my hair gets to a point where it starts to gray, but it's, like, completely accidental. And so, if I wanted to cosplay someone with gray hair, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think a wig would be better for him. I can do, like, pink hair, I can do black hair, but gray is super difficult to get, like, on purpose. But here you go. We got the hat as a badge. Alright. I don't believe it. Oh my god, now he's JoJo posing! Every pose he does! Look at his eyes! Yeah, they're sprouts. They're little sprouts. Oh, do I have to zoom? See, it's like a little sprout. It has a little line in the middle and everything. It's like tied on to my headphones. He embodies drama, and we love that for him. He's all flourish. Yeah, I just saw him yesterday, like, slam his leg on the table. He's serving! Let him cook. I feel like letting a purple fade into a bluey gray could work. Ooh. Ooh. You know, it's funny, this is hair dye. This black on my hair. And it has like a really blue undertone, so I feel like as it's washing out, it's actually gonna turn kind of like a dark blue. I'm curious how it's gonna look. Some of it, you might not be able to tell on stream, but some of it's already kind of like washing out. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'll dye it black again, unless I want to cosplay Okita again, but we'll see. I can't believe I missed the leg slam. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, I've dyed my hair that shiny bluey black. Yeah, this was my first time ever doing that. I mean, I've had purple and then various types of pink, and now this is the first time I've dyed it like a quote-unquote natural color black. But the problem is, I don't think I would do it again for style, only because the dye that I have is extremely terrible at staining. Even after washing it like 10 times, it still like bleeds out a blue color. It's awful. The very first time I dyed it and I was just washing it out of my hair as I usually do, my hands were like purple and I had to do like 5 different methods to wash them and get it off because that was like 2 days before the convention and I didn't want purple hands, you know? So it was pretty bad. I would have to wear gloves next time for sure just to wash it out. I'm sure most people who dye their hair do that and might wonder why I didn't, but I've never had to before. Whenever I dyed my hair the pink colors, it never did anything. It didn't even make my hands more pink. It was fine. So, I don't know, there's just something about the particular dye. I would have to pick a different one, a different brand, I think. So I just don't know if I'll go through the effort, but anyway, yeah. It wanted to stain everything like a blue purpley color, and still does. I have to like wrap it in a towel when it's still wet because it will stain everything. It's terrible. I would suggest letting it fade a ton before you try to get the black out too. Oh yeah, I've you know what's funny? I've never gotten a hair dye color out of my hair. I always just let it fade out. And if anything, I'll go over it with like a darker color maybe, but this is black, so I think we're just gonna let it wash out extremely. So I was gonna do that anyway, but yeah. I don't even know how to take the dye out, to be honest. I wouldn't even know what to do. Oh god. Alright. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh! Good golly gosh! Anna, hello!
Howdy. How you doing?
Mods are in chat. Mods are in chat.
Order, order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? Oh.
I take back what I said about the judge. All the British characters just say at least one thing that's a little off.
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
So Van Zieks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did. Yes, it would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid.
Oh, she's shaking again. She's jiggling again. Ruuuvo, if you could hear me, hi. Ruuuvo might be able to hear you, but Ruuuvo cannot respond right now. Ruuuvo is, en route. Ruuuvo is driving. That's why when Anna popped in, I was like, mods in chat! Mods in chat! Too much caffeine from all the tea. That's why she's shaking. That's why she's shaking.
Drive safe, bestie.
I am watching you, chat. Oh my god, Anna. Just like with a twinkle in your eye.
Oh, dearie me!
During the argument between those two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garrideb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time. Can you imagine if it actually stabbed him? This would be a very different case.
Which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1!
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. Ah. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garrideb's house, little 360 spin always gets me, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh! Oh dear! Oh! No! Oh no!
Objection!
And of course, there's his wine. A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. Oh, come on! You still don't believe it. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? We're all confused, King. But after all, it is just a theory. A game theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see... He did it again! It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. He went and did it again! He's doing it to us! He's doing it to him! I don't know why Twinkism runs in the bloodline. Oh my god. Would you say twink? Or could he possibly be a twunk? He's got broad shoulders. But I guess so does Edgeworth? But to me, Edgeworth, I've never, like, questioned twink, you know? I don't know. We gotta see if he has muscles. I think that's really the defining feature. It's in the behavior. Okay. Mentally, he's a twink. Okay. I just noticed she's on a box. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Hey, Panda. Like, because of Twitch's twitchy notification system. Oh, I'm so sorry. Twitch annoys me to no end. They're terrible about that. What did I miss? Well, Vampire Daddy is putting legs on tables. I think we're very close to finishing this case. And he's got his little wine goblet. 2 tea spillings in the courtroom, yes. Piping hot tea. We're discussing the hereditary evolution of Twinkism. Make it sound like so scientific. I'd love to be his table. We've got so many feelings in the chat right now. There's like a lot of different feelings happening. Oh, an insurmountable what?
Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back.
Oh, I already know the explanation for this. I've already figured this out, like, yesterday. Yes, in her... Oh.
She slapped him again! That's right, you silly little man!
Now, Jono Thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above... Oh my god. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong! Oh yeah, she is on a box. And his coat is all burnt where his butt is. Did y'all see that? The butt is missing. Is it appropriate for me to talk about twinks? I just love science. I think it's fine. Of course, I'm not a twink, so I don't know if I can really speak for them. I have yet to get complaints He wasted alcohol. Interesting development. I don't know if I've actually seen him drink it. I feel like he's always just pouring it and then throwing it. Like, maybe he's so rich he doesn't even need to think about preserving the wine. I don't know if he's actually drinking it. Does he have an animation where he drinks it, y'all? Because I don't remember. But I feel like more often than not, he is just throwing it. He's taken like 3 sips in all these cases. Okay, so he sips it, but very rarely. Most of the time, he's throwing it. Sometimes he'll throw the entire bottle. Haven't been paying attention too much, but I have a theory as to who the killer is. Yeah, so, I mean, we're so far in that at this point, it's pretty established who it probably is, so it's not too much of, like, a stretch to say it. Like, I think I'm, like, 99% sure who it is, because it's all pointing to that one person. Of course, it's an accident, but... Are vamps intolerant to grape juice? Well, maybe it's blood. And then he's just wasting it. He has so many willing victims giving him blood, he can waste it. Oh my god, it's like where she lights a cigarette and takes one drag and puts it out. I guess so. Pretty much. He just sips in. I'd be willing. I think several people in chat would be willing.
Quite right. You see? That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
The slap mark. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure it's the maid. Everything's pointing to her. There's been a lot revealed in like since yesterday and everything in the case. So it's at this point we're just proving that that's the right thing. We're just proving it right now. Well, I already know what to do here though. He's lost for words. Look, I knew it. I never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know though. What really did happen? It would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. No, we're fine. I know what to do. I already know. We were so close. I could see the truth. We've got this, Ryu! Don't be stressed! I was so sure we were on the right track. But now, the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Mrs. Sato. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection!
This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Goodness!
Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
This is the last inconsistency. The final piece in the puzzle. I'm very confident about my answer, but just in case. The blah blah except the blah, yes. Precisely! If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... It's the book. A tacit accept a blah 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 blah. Thank you for the clip.
Take that!
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book. Is that not Mr. Garrideb's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. No, I don't think so. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. Yeah, he said that that's how he found it, and that's why he put it in her hand again. What made you place the book in the victim's hand?
Well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me!
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrideb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw.
Yes, Mrs. Garrideb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine it. But I suppose she might have reached down.
Yep. Poor thing.
And picked the book up.
Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. That drawing is so cute. This one right here, it is very cute. Very, very cute. Alright, I need to take a quick break, y'all. I know we're in the midst of things, but I gotta go check on something. And I'll grab some water while I'm gone, too. But I should be back in maybe 5 minutes or so. And when I return, we will probably be finishing up this case real soon, and then moving on to case 5. So I will see y'all in a little bit. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. All good. Catch up here. Silly goose time. I'm toying with the idea of taking a week-long trip somewhere in Europe in the near future, and England is on my list of possibilities. Ooh! It'd be super cool to take a trip up to Bletchley Park. You know, I gotta admit, I don't know a ton of, like, landmarks in the UK. Let me see. An English country house and estate. Oh, like, it's a historical place, huh? You are a history buff. Yes, the code break. Yeah, I saw that in the little description right as I came back to chat. That's interesting. I keep hearing about the bad food there. Oh my god. Probably a cool place to visit still. Man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the only thing on my mind ever for, like, visiting a place is Japan still. I think it would be cool to visit Europe in general at some point, but I wouldn't even know where to start, like, what place exactly. Maybe Italy? I don't know, really. I'm not sure. Ooh, Alan Turing worked there. Ooh! I think I almost did a paper on Alan Turing at one point, or I did do a paper. It's been so long. Yes, I know a bit about him. I need Italy biblically. I need pasta and pizza and wine. Now that sounds good. That does sound good. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you're able to take that trip, PC Man. I think that would be super, super fun for you to do. And you have to tell us all about it if you do end up doing that. Or wherever you end up going. Fix, how are we feeling about the new Hosier album? Oh my god. Oh, also considering Switzerland. Ooh, I've heard it's, like the nature there is very beautiful, like the hills and stuff, I think, I'm pretty sure. And then I technically don't fall under Sapphic, so I can't really, like, comment exactly. But I have been hearing about that. I have, like, my TikTok feed is very LGBT, so, like, I see a lot of, like, people talking about, like, Hosier and all of that, and I have not listened to the new album personally, but I know that a lot of the songs are heart-wrenching. Oh, Sweet Ops, yeah, like the mountainside, yeah. I was imagining, like, just green hills, but I might just be thinking of any other generic, pretty European country. I don't know. Alright, let's get back to the game. Are you thinking of Ireland? Maybe? I feel like there's several countries that have, like, really, really pretty, like, green hills and stuff. Not necessarily mountains. I feel like Switzerland has that, though. I don't know. Would highly recommend. This one is a concept album based on Dante's Inferno. Oh, I did hear about that. It's like you said, yeah. I gotta listen. I just recently finally got to listening to the new, quote-unquote, from 2 years ago, Mitski album. It literally took me this long to sit down and actually, like, listen to it purposely and, like, listen to the lyrics and memorize the lyrics and everything. And then now she's coming out with a new album. So when that was announced, I was like, I gotta go fucking listen to the other one, because I haven't even listened to the one before this one. So I finally have. I'm still memorizing the songs, though, so. Yeah, the Bug Like an Angel. I still gotta watch the video. I still gotta watch it. I'm, like, doing it in parts. I'm like, okay, last album first, and then we'll move on to the next album. I'm still getting down the other one. You're thinking of the Windows XP background. What country is that in? I'm looking it up right now. What country is this? Oh, California. The country of California. I couldn't remember where the hell that picture was from. Here's the thing. When it comes to geography and specific, like, locations and places to visit, things like that, I'm very uncultured with that. There's, like, really specific things that I'll know, but in general, like, oh, Switzerland is like this, Ireland is like this, like, yeah, that's something that I struggle with. Ah, yes, the country, California, yes. Yeah, must I just Mitski's skull? You gotta slow drip Mitski. You can't just pile it all on. I gotta go slowly. Okay, that's right. Facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. So this is how this lady accidentally got stabbed in the back. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance, directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, I never. It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor, In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
Ah,
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. Yeah, just all bad luck. And that is the real truth behind this case. That might be it. We got it. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb.
the very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Garrideb.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Pretty much, sorry. Sorry. You accidentally kind of stabbed a lady, but at least she didn't die. Have you seen videos of those top GeoGuessr players who can identify a country by just the grass? I have seen some wild videos. I have. But not the grass specifically. You called Anna. Is that your skill level now? Oh, God. See, I would be complete and utter trash at GeoGuessr. That's like my worst nightmare of a game, honestly. I would be so terrible. I wouldn't even know the first thing to do. That's what I mean. I am terrible with geography in regards to like, oh, that particular thing happens in this particular place, you know? Not quite that good, but I know some places by dirt and plants. That's pretty freaking good. That's pretty good. I will say people who are really good at GeoGuessr would probably be pretty good in a survival situation because they could be plopped anywhere. They'd be like, I am in... I don't know. Freaking... I'm in Korea. I'm in South Korea, you know, something like that. Let me see. Oh, hey, Rock Dan. Howdy. How you doing? Is there a schedule for this week? Yes. I only posted it in the Discord this week. And the one on Twitch should be current. I'll have to check it later. But yeah, we're just playing Ace Attorney all week. I am hopefully going to be streaming more frequently now. Life has been kind of a wreck lately, so I haven't been super consistent. But I'm here, and unless something else happens, I should be here every Tuesday to Friday. So I'm trying to be here more often and more consistently like I was before, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, all Ace Attorney. I'm basically planning on just playing this game until the Pokemon DLC comes out in a few weeks, and then we'll play both of the games at the same time. And then October, November, there's some more games coming out that we'll throw in the schedule. But for now, it's all Ace Attorney, yeah. And I really gotta make some progress in this game, so I don't mind. If I attempt GeoGuessr, everything is Florida. What would this fall under? We were talking about that earlier. Yeah, it's like... Okay, so Wolf says 3rd degree, like a car crash accident or something. Oh, maybe. Yeah, like 3rd degree manslaughter or something, but she didn't die, so it's like attempted. It's like 3rd degree attempted manslaughter. I don't know. Accidental knife stab in the back. That's the technical term. Let's apprehend gravity. Gravity is the real culprit here. Alright. I forgot she's not dead. Yeah, she's not actually dead. She's in a coma. She's alive. The son committed vehicular manslaughter, but with a knife! Some Plymouth has things like unintentional manslaughter. I don't know, man. I don't know. I take full responsibility for whatever the hell this crime would be called. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw the knife as well. John, dear.
It's alright. I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
Oh, and she fainted. It was like a high G. I don't know what tune that was. Oh my god. His butt! Oh my god. You're arrested under the charge of committed an oopsie. You tried, King. You tried.
Lord Van Zieks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
Oh, wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
There he is.
Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
They should all say sorry. Everybody in this room.
No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
That is not true! What are you talking about?
Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again, in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry.
I guess he should have helped her, yeah. But they also need to be sorry for blaming him.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions.
I gotta say befooled more. It's a great word.
But thanks to Lord Van Zieks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both.
Oh.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Sitting in for the old bean whilst she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
We did it! We did it! It was the maid. It was an accident, but it was the maid. Very well. Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Yay! Confetti! We did it!
We did it! We did it! Hooray! You're saying it wasn't the tea? Supposedly not. Also, welcome in, Flame. Howdy. I'm scrolling around London on Google Maps. Thank you. Google Maps, and it showed me the Sherlock Holmes Museum. Oh my god. Perfect. He for sure stalks the night in his free time. Oh, vampire daddy. Van Stinks did squat aside from being stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir. You are now a free man once more. It's my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life. I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again! I'm transported to tears! Oh. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. The weighing of the scales. Yeah, so that's like a literal mechanic in this game. The jury over time will say guilty or not guilty, or whatever they think, and it'll make the scales tip either for guilty or not guilty, and our job is to get them, of course, to tip to not guilty. So yeah, we have to worry about the jury. So y'all really get to witness jury duty here. 20th February, 3:17 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, locum! Wait, you mean me? Oh yeah, of course! Is there another locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Petty, hearty, happiness, hurrah! Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that, then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. Oh my goodness! Save Data Team, welcome in! Thank you so much for that raid! If we have a mod, can we get a shout out, please? Oh my goodness. Welcome in, y'all! What were you streaming? What were you playing? Let me see if I'll do one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Anna. Oh, you were also playing this game. How far are you in this one? I am currently in episode 4, and I actually just finished the case. So I hope I'm not ahead of you or anything. Let me know. Yeah, welcome in, y'all. Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome in, King. Welcome in, Phila. Welcome in, Jack. And Data. And Rightworth. Oh, Rightworth is Canon 20. Their username. Oh, y'all are at the last trial. Okay, so no spoilers, no spoilers. Y'all will be good here. Oh. Welcome in, Punisher. Welcome, welcome. Ace Attorney Chronicles is amazing. I'm loving it so much so far. I played the original trilogy semi-recently. I'm kind of new to Ace Attorney in the last few years, and finally got to Chronicles. I'm super excited for the next trilogy next spring. So my goal is to finish this before then. So we'll see. But yeah, this is what I play all the time right now. I'm waiting for the Pokemon DLC to drop, and then I'll be playing that and Ace Attorney, but I'm all Ace Attorney right now. But yeah, all y'all new people coming in, welcome in. My name is Bishi. Like I said, I'm playing Ace Attorney all the time right now, but I play all kinds of games. I am a huge fan of Yakuza as well, if any of y'all know what that is. I've played all the games, and I've run out, so we're playing Ace Attorney. But yeah, I'm also a big fan of Ace Attorney. and Resident Evil. Lots of different stuff. Zelda. Katamari. Welcome in Luna as well. Pokemon DLC. Yeah, I also love Pokemon, so I'm waiting for the DLC to come out, and then I'll stream that too. Chronicles might be my favorite game in the series, no joke. Oh wow. Yeah, it's... I love it as well because of all of the... like, mechanics are so much nicer compared to the original trilogy, so I went from that to this. It makes a world of difference. Just, it's so much easier to, like, navigate and everything. But yeah, I'm having a great time with it. I don't know what will end up being my favorite. Right now, my favorite is, I think Justice for All, the third in the trilogy. Or was that Trials and Tribulations? Oh god, I don't remember. But the third one. I liked the last one in the first trilogy. That one's my favorite, and I can't remember. It was Trials and Tribulations. Okay, my bad. Trials and Tribulations is my fave. What do you think of our main duo, Ryan and Susie? I love Ryu. I love Ryu and Susato. I think they're great. I am excited to see more of them. Like I said, we're just in episode 4, so we're still pretty early on in the game. But yeah, I love all the characters. I think Herlock is funny. Very weird, but funny. So I always, like, look forward to seeing more of him because it just cracks me up when he's just, like, hanging on the wall or something like a bug. It's just, yeah, it's great. The UI improvements are a huge deal, and they really help with enjoying the game. They really do, yeah. I'm wondering how the second trilogy is going to be as far as, like, UI stuff, but thanks so much for the follow. And welcome in, Croissant. I am super second trilogy biased, particularly 4, but Chronicles is definitely a close second for me. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that the second trilogy is their favorite, so I'm excited. Have you played all of the Ace Attorney games plus Investigations? I have not. I have only played the original trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, and now this. So yeah, like I said, I'm new to Ace Attorney. I haven't played all the games. I was waiting until they hopefully ported the second trilogy to play them, and they did, so I'm very glad I waited. And then I don't know when I'll get to Investigations. I'm hoping that they port it to console, because I think the only way to play it is, like, DS and mobile, right? And I'd rather just play it on console, so... I don't know, we'll see. But I do want to play it someday. Still grieving our dead Katana boyfriend? Yes, I love Kazuma. I love him, and they took him away so soon! It's not right. Copyright Safe Detective Herlock Sholmes trademark is the most chaotic being in my mind, and it's hilarious. Yeah, he's so funny. And I'll get so confused, like, when someone types Sherlock Holmes in chat, sometimes I'll say Herlock Sholmes because I'm so used to saying his name. Oh, God. Imagine Herlock skittering across the wall like a little roach. Exactly. That he would do that! That's the thing, he would do that. But yeah, I appreciate the raid and welcome in. I'm gonna get back to the game, but I appreciate y'all joining in the raid and hanging out with us very, very much. Welcome back in, Dan. Oh, only the first one was ported, the second was fan-made and downloadable. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, the second trilogy is coming, I know. I was talking about Investigations. I think that's separate, right? I read too much fanfic, my brain flip-flops between Herlock and Sherlock way too easily. Very relatable. Hope the second one gets a proper port, it's so good. Yeah, I would love to play all the Ace Attorney games. All of them! Yeah, the second trilogy is coming out next spring. I know! I know! I was super excited when they announced that. I was so happy because I really wanted to play the next trilogy, but I wanted it to be on console, you know? I wanted it to be easy for me. And then they did it! They ported it, so very pleased with that. Thank you, Capcom. I also hope it gets ported, but I hope they don't change the names from what the fan translation... Oh, they probably will, because I think that's what happened with this one. Thanks so much for the follow, Data. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. What happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, 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 not that! Lovely, loyal, locum, lawyer! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I
I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain.
Thanks so much for the follow.
Luna, thank you. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings.
Thank you so much for the follow. Briz, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
They heard your wish. They really did. They really did. And actually the same thing happened with Yakuza, what I mentioned earlier. There was also a Japan-only game that they had, a spin-off. And for years, of course, everyone was asking them to port it. Please, 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 you know, bring this to the West. And they finally did it earlier this year. So that also takes place in the 1800s, like this game. So it was really funny playing both at the same time, because they're both in the same time period, but completely different games, because Yakuza is like a, you know, fighting action game, so... But yeah, it's great. It's great when that happens. And then Ishin, yeah, Ishin is what the game I'm talking about. It also has this exact character. They also have the author, Natsume, in it. Yeah, which is also wild. It's just so funny, the similarities. Investigations 2 deserves an official translation. Honestly, yeah, like, you know, I'd be curious what the fan translation is, but, you know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They gave him a fake name. Yeah, didn't they? But it was technically him. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh no!
Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!"
Very potent bees. Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Huh? Y'all weren't lying. Yes. Sherlock Sholmes is a gigantic himbo in this game. Whatever preconceived notion you have of the character Sherlock Holmes, you need to erase. Because this man is so dumb. There's a mechanic in the game for you to correct his wrong deductions. There's a whole mechanic in this game for it. He'll do like this big roundabout deduction of a situation of like, oh, he's actually the murderer because such and such, and he'll be totally off base, and you have to go in and correct it so it's actually true. Those goggles didn't help the old noggin, huh? Yeah, they're like squeezing his brain cells dry. He's the best Sherlock, in my opinion. You know, he's hilarious. He's hilarious, but yeah. Yeah, and then he'll say that he was right all along. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like... I hated him at first. Like, not actually hated him, like, despised, but just, like... I was so annoyed at him at first, but now I just think he's very entertaining and funny. So, you know, I don't dislike him at all. But he got on my nerves so bad at first because he would like take credit for everything and oh, I know what I'm doing, and he absolutely did. But you know, he's just a silly himbo to me now. I love how Susato still stands him even when he's blatantly wrong. Yeah, she's a big fan. She's a big fan. He can do no wrong. Let me catch up with chat here, and then we'll keep going. I love the Chronicle games, but it makes me think if I had read the Sherlock Holmes books, I would get the subtle references. Exactly, yeah. I'm in that same situation. I don't know much about the Sherlock Holmes stories. I know who Sherlock Holmes is. I know John Watson. I've watched, I think, some of the like live-action movies and things like that, but I've never like been a huge fan and read all the books or anything. So yeah, there's a lot of references I don't get, and chat has to tell me, oh, that's actually a reference to something, 'cause I don't pick up on it. The Himbo Supreme. Babbling British, yes. Himblock Sholmes. Yet he still has his moments, which makes his screw-ups even more mystifying. Yeah, that's true, that's true. He'll have a moment where he actually knows what's happening. I was the same. He grows on you, yeah. Like, I don't love him yet. But I am now, like, I look forward to seeing him because he's so silly. It's giving Colonel Mustard Sholmes. He's smarter than he lets on. Mechanic of you correcting him is canonically his teaching you in the art of deduction. Really? I wonder if the game would have, like, told me that eventually. You know, like, if it's gonna reveal that to me later. Because at this point, I still believe that he is, like, super big dum-dum. And the game hasn't given me any implication that I'm wrong about that quite yet. I guess I'll just have to see what the game says later about this character. Oh, oops. I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No! Then my haste was in vain? Ah! It's you! Hairlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault! Hairlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind! My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. I'm gonna need to take note of something. Yeah, please, no spoilers. It just kind of sours the fun for everybody, including me. I don't think I would be able to get into all of my feelings about Sholmes without further context. He's just a dork. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I am very early on in this game. I'm in case 4, which I'm thinking is not super deep into it. And so all I know about Sholmes is that he is very silly and he gets all these deductions wrong. And I'm just starting to kind of warm up to him. So I don't know, like, any of the intricacies of this character. I also just recently learned that he also lives with, like, the little girl and helps her. So, like, I'm learning more about him, but I don't know everything about him yet. So, yeah, and I'm playing this with fresh eyes. I haven't seen anyone else play this. I don't know anything about what happens later, so yeah. I would really much appreciate people not telling me anything that happens after this point, because I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. Alright. Never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Ah, he's laughing. Priceless! Oh, I am sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But he could have been found guilty. There is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper! Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. Otherwise known as Vampire Daddy. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed!
It will all be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya!
Oh, of course! You have to make an example of Ryu?
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. A little warning, please. The head turn with the arms up, yeah. Sholmes is so silly. Ryu can take it, he'll be fine. He'll be just fine. He just lost a couple brain cells, it's all good. A vampire twink, just like his father, and his father before him. He comes from a long line of twinks. Oh god. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh. It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, she's actually crying.
Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all!
The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Would be an interesting read. That's because he's a real person that existed and wrote books. About a cat, specifically.
And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry? What about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we first arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right. We need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room? The pit? The dark cave? I don't know about that.
Huh, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls!
Those are good. Everybody loves walls. Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit.
Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
We'll think about it, if that's alright. We'll just give it a little think over, I think. You can stay at my lodgings. Sure is awful, but it's a place! That's literally what he said. It's like, it's absolutely horrendous, but hey, it's a place you can stay. It's got walls and floors. That's all you need. Ryo doesn't need those brain cells anyway! Doesn't need those pesky brain cells. We know Susato does all the real work! Oh my god, with her little book. Her little dictionary.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative.
Ooh?
Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Oh my god, we're gonna live with Herlock Sholmes?
Really?
She's freaking out right now.
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the Great Detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
Thanks so much for the follow, Dragonite.
Thank you, thank you.
So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then.
Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you. And yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
It's like getting to live in the attic of your biggest idol. She's ecstatic.
Welcome. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan.
But Locum, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
I really hope nothing happens to him. I'm like so scared. I'm so scared that something's gonna happen to Natsume.
And so, Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street.
It's like getting to live with Kiryu and Majima. Big fan. Big fan.
20th February, 4:41 p.m., the attic room.
That's not too bad.
So this is to be our new office, yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kazuma.
Oh. Ah! It's only a small step.
But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Every time they talk— Hello? I know for a fact that this is the moment that everyone opened their eyes and were like, oh no, he's hot! I know for a fact this is the moment. This is the moment. All of you Sherlock Sholmes enjoyers. I know it. Don't call me out like this. I'm Ace and I did that. How dare you read me? Bold to assume I didn't think he was hot earlier than this. Okay. Oh well, I'll rectify what I said. This is the moment that anyone that didn't already think that he was hot now thought that he was hot. Yeah, everyone is like, oh no. Oh no. He's dumb and hot. A sucker for waistcoats. Well, now he's got like a waist. Everyone's like, oh. Everyone's like, I want to hold him like a wine glass. You could hold him like a wine glass. Look at him. 100%. I didn't think he was hot until he took off his hat, and then I was like, I need fan art. Oh my god. 71% love with him block Sholmes. Oh yeah, y'all feel free to test your love percentage. It's complete chance. The percentage changes every week. So feel free to try it and see how much Sherlock Sholmes loves you back. The hair and eyes, yeah, I mean, that's what I was like, hello? My god. And I was just, there's whiplash here too, because I was just like tearing up about Kazuma, and then they're like, by the way, he's kind of hot. By the way. He's like Baba taking off his jacket. Oh, yep. The snatched waist Herlock can just remove more clothes to be hotter. Oh my god. Explains the ship fix. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, I could look. Let me see. He is 34. That's a man! That's a man right there! Ain't no way he's 34! That's what it says! He's got a really nice, face care routine. Skincare. Face care! Skincare routine, sorry. I couldn't remember the word skin. How old is Garrideb? Probably 46! I was gonna say 80! I was gonna say this man is 80 years old. I thought he was like, okay, 70. Oh my god! That's a rough 46! And then he's 34. I mean, if anything, I thought maybe he was like late 20s or something, but I wouldn't think that he's like 21. I mean, he looked like older to me. And 34 isn't even that old, honestly. I think he looks fine. How old is Van Six? Let's see. We're just looking at everybody's ages now. 32. So Sherlock is actually older. Herlock, sorry. Copyright free Herlock Sholmes. Goodness. Mid-20s is valid. He looks really young. He does look really young, but 34 is not that old, so. Ryan's like 24. Oh yeah, Ryu. I guess Ryu's not gonna be on here. And Susato is younger. Yeah, Susato is a baby. She's 16. And then Ryu is somewhere around 24. How old is Beat? Oh, now that's very believable. They seemed really young. 23, 21. Who else do we want to know? 38 and 46. And then, of course, the little girl. Soseki was 33, Gregson's 44, Strongheart's 52, and I know there's people that want to call him daddy too. I know! There are Strongheart thirsters in this chat right now. There's several people you could thirst for in this game. I forgot Strongheart was 52. Strongheart's a good 52. Yeah, I mean, you know, he has like gray hair, so he's like older looking, but yeah. How is he that old? Gregson looks great for 44. It's really funny how different characters look different ages. Like, some look their age and some don't. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sad I missed the beats now that I see them. They were a highlight of this trial for me. They were very silly. I liked having to voice act for them. It was fun. I've seen the fan art. I know it's true. Plot relevance gets you the best genes, yeah? Yeah, pretty much. It's like plot armor, but for your age. For your skin. Sholmes looks younger than most of my university classmates. Oh, it's the plot armor. Garrideb needs Herlock's face routine, exactly. Face routine. I'm gonna call it face care now. I need his face care. Oh my god. I'm just reading chat. I've like missed so many messages. Making me laugh. The game tries to lessen the blow by giving us that. That one over there. University ages you. It really does. Alright. I feel like half of my back pain is from school. Okay. Ah, Mr. Sholmes. Yes. Thank you so much. Why are you suddenly so hot?
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate.
Iris, you must let me help you.
All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Splendid. Oh no, we're alone in the room with him. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel? To think I'm hot now. I'm sorry, I can't stop. To have your own office in the capital. Quick, make out! It's time for the 24-hour makeout session. Now's our chance. OMG, they were roommates. They were literally roommates now. It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventure awaits us. Yeah, I'm sure you are excited. I'm literally incapable of stopping. I can't help wondering what adventure awaits us. And there's only one bed! Oh no! Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Not the, like, oh my god. He's, like, pushing back his hair. Is that an adventure in my pocket, or am I just happy to see you? Oh my god. Is that one of Herlock Sholmes' inventions in my pocket? He knows what he's doing. Until I discover the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. They demustard Sholmes. They demustarded him. Oh, he's not allowed to be attractive. I'm also ace, but this isn't fair. Oh my god. So funny. Violin gets me every time. Shadows, the hedgehog. He's got Asterion Riz. Oh my god. I thought Vampire Daddy had Asterion Riz. Everyone with silver hair is gonna be compared to Asterion now. Oh my god, you're playing Baldur's Gate right now. Amazing. Oh my god. Asterion is gonna be like the new Dark Souls. Like, oh my god, that's so Dark Souls. This is the Dark Souls of Zelda. This is the Asterion of Ace Attorney. It's so funny. Asterion needs me. He got you all discombobulated. Oh my god, hey Roxy, welcome. Oh no. This is the Dark Souls of day vampires bouldering those gates. I can't even breathe today, oh my god. Welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Is it end? Another episode complete! We can move on to episode 5 now. Let's see. I see PC Man has redeemed the no laugh challenge. I was laughing so much. You were like, oh, this is the perfect time for me to make Bishi not laugh for 5 minutes. Anime gods, give me strength. All right, 5 minutes starting now. I cannot laugh for 5 minutes, so I'm sure everyone in chat will do their best to make me laugh. Accurate. And see, laughter for me is just like talking or breathing. I'm laughing all the time. I laugh as like a form of speech, like people say the in a sentence. I laugh.
So it's very difficult. I see Asterion clips, and I'm like, this y'all's man? But I am a lesbian. Also, wasn't he the main in the trailer with the bear? What's that all about? There's so much that happens in that game. I haven't even played it, but I know so much about it because I watch any clip that comes up on social media. Like, I don't care about spoilers. Asterion is just, you know, the sexy vampire guy. I mean, everybody pretty much loves him. I think I'm actually gonna go for Karlach whenever I play Baldur's Gate, because I am a sucker for hot, strong ladies, so that's more my tea. But Asterion is very hot. I need another clip to go viral, oh my god. Yeah, Bishes use a chuckle as punctuation. I am also Bishes, exactly. I'm like really having to stop myself from just like not even like a full laugh, but just like kind of like a breathy laugh. Like I do that so much when I'm reading chat as just like, I don't know, just a form of me reacting to a message. I have to try really hard not to. I don't feel normal right now. Okay, let's see, episode 4. So we're going into episode 5, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Oh god. Oh god. Karlach. I am just ashes. Karlach is so cute and hot. Yeah, I really want to romance Karlach. Asterion reminds me of the villain in the animated Barbie movie. Oh my god. I have seen people compare them, yes. I have. Oh, you're going for Asterion and Karlach. Nice. I definitely want to go for Karlach. I don't know who else yet. I have to play the game. Okay, episode 5. I'm trying so hard not to laugh or anything. Not even a chuckle. Alright, episode 5. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
Alright. Alright. To be copyright safe, the Bound of the Baskerville. The Dog of the Basketville. The Puppy of Baskets. All good alternatives. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. 15th April, 9:13 a.m., Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Aw. They have the room all decorated now. Their little space. They got the little scales up there. I see the Daruma. I see his Daruma on the shelf too. That morning, I was awoken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Also, I can laugh now. Thank God. I can laugh again. Okay. I'm like, it physically, it's like almost painful. I have to like physically Not like, or haha, nothing. Nothing. I can be myself again. It's the dog from Hades! Sato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I like when she just flips through all the pages. And now I have to... Are y'all gonna do this every time? Like, every time I can't laugh for 5 minutes, you make me... My first laugh be the... Is that really what we're doing? Is that really what y'all want? Every time? No worries, Anna. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, Lord. Go get yourself a snack. That isn't hysterian for once. You see, this is why I have to laugh. I have to be able to laugh. Okay. Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. Okay. Let's talk to Susato. Yeah, we got a telegram that supposedly changed everything. Let's look at that in a second. Alright. Oh, I can make a new note now. I have a text file on my computer where I take extensive notes about the cases as they happen, especially because after Friday I don't stream again until Tuesday, and so I could forget stuff, so I take really good notes. So now we can do an episode 5 one. Alright. The telegram. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. Okay, Soseki-san. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Van Zeeks, the Reaper? Yes. I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. I wish I'd taken notes when I played. It's so fun to look back at my stupid theories. Well, thankfully, mine are all documented on video format for everyone to see. All my weird, outlandish theories that aren't true, that aren't correct. Thank goodness, that's saved forever. Oh. But, you know, there's times where I get it right, you know? I feel like with the last case, I think maybe in the very beginning, any theories I said were off base because, like, you know, I didn't know anything about the case. But I think I pretty quickly figured out, oh, you know, it was this character that did it, and, oh, that's how she got stabbed, and, you know, all of that. I didn't really struggle or get stuck on anything in the last case, I don't remember. that happening. But yeah, there's times where I get stuck for a long time, and it's a little embarrassing, but okay. Spoiler alert, the telegram says words. How dare you. Ooh, you got Baldur's Gate. Yeah. I gotta get Baldur's Gate too. I think I want to finish up Pikmin first, because I'm playing that off stream. I really want to, like, maybe not 100% it, but almost 100% it first, and then maybe I'll jump into Baldur's Gate. Still gotta finish Breath of the Wild. Not Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, sorry. Zelda. But I hope you have a great time in Baldur's Gate. Let us know who you romance. I've gone through multiple entire health bars on the same question before. I will save and load. I will save and load over and over. And everyone sees it because it's on stream. I have to sometimes. Trial and error is the only way. Some of those cases, man, especially in the trilogy. Oh my god. I would get stuck a lot. The Reaper. Ruuvo. My darling! My love! Hello, Ruuvo. Thank you for subscribing for 52 months. My biggest fan. Started saving and reloading. Eventually, it just took me forever to decide that maybe I should. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess, like, sometimes people don't want to do that because they feel like it's cheating. But, like, with a game like this, it's like, you're gonna just get a game over and over again if you don't do that, which will take more time. So it just makes sense to, like, save and load instead. Yeah. I save before each question, even when I'm positive I have the right answer. Yep. Yep. That's what I do too. And then there was one time I forgot to save, and I was like really low on health, I think, and I couldn't. I had to load the save, and it took forever to get back to where I was. Oh my god. So you have to save frequently. Not forgetting to save, it's horrendous. Awful. Oh, okay, you pre-ordered it. Nice, nice. I don't know when I'm gonna get it. I want to get it, but I don't know when. The Reaper! Don't fear the Reaper. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Mm-hmm. Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably, that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps? Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. Oh god. The legend of the Reaper is to be believed. It would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials, then. Ugh, just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. I am so curious what the telegram says. This girl is acting weird. What do I have now? Armband. Just the armband. And this is the, it's actually Kazuma's. I forget that sometimes. It's actually from Kazuma. His little lawyer. It's like the little lawyer cookie badge in the trilogy. That's like his lawyer identity. Shows he's a lawyer. I think I failed the first trial in Ace Attorney 3 once, and then had to do everything from the last to be continued I had hit. Oh. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I would be so stressed out. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what happened to me is not nearly as bad as that. Oh my god. You gotta save like every 5 minutes. I bet you saved every 5 minutes after that. Yeah, the fact that it's Kazuma's armband is always a direct hit to my soul. I know. I can't believe I forgot that. Let's look around at their cute little room. I want to see what they have to say about everything. Shovel. That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Oh, that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. Oh. They really had to have one of these, huh? They had to have them argue about something like this. Just like Phoenix and Maya. Yeah, it's the ladder all over again. It's the ladder all over again. Oh my god. It's a requirement. Yeah, it's not an Ace Attorney game without, I guess, a shovel spade argument or a ladder step ladder argument. Oh my god. Oh, after the failure, I just watched a playthrough on YouTube until I got to 6. Oh my god. Understandable. Understandable. The Great Shovel Spade War of 1900. Don't you mean stepladder? Oh my god. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. I don't want to dig a hole for myself. Let's leave it. Just let her be right. And then everybody wins. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, would you like some tea, Naruhodo-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susato-san makes me from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. Now I want tea. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment. Accompaniment. I don't know if I've ever said this word out loud. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever said this word out loud. Accompaniment. There we go. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? It's like I always knew how to say it. Oh. So this is the tea set that Susato-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know. I don't like to see you screw up your face so. What else we got? Books! I don't think I've heard that word outside of music context, right? Yeah! I think I've only ever heard it with music, too. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. You could tidy up once in a while. Susato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on some simple housework. Get his ass! No excuses! Uh-huh. She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. You lost today. Maya/Susato always wins. The Daruma! Ah, the Daruma doll I brought with me from home, still with only one eye colored in. I said I would color the other eye once I won my first court case here in Britain, but you have one, haven't you? Twice, in fact. Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once you think I'm a proper, fully fledged lawyer? If you insist. Oh, I know they're gonna bring that back and make it an emotional thing. Oh, I know they're gonna bring that back and break my heart with it. Oh my god. They're just setting it up. They're setting it up right now. I swear. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Okay. Sorry. Look at the tape. Welcome back, Anna. This must be the telegram. Let's see. Ah! No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances. All right, I won't. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Then put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, and the anemones too.
Oh, they have a little fish tank.
It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea, behind glass, inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it?
That's cute, they got little pets.
You know, I've never seen inside your room there, Susato-san. I've never even peeped inside.
I should think so too.
A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Whatever you say, young maiden.
Why would you look in her room?
So I guess Susato and Ryu have a room, have two different rooms, and then there's the office? Or is this Ryu's room? I wonder. Oh, wasn't it emus? The emu war? I don't think it was ostriches, right? I think it was emus. Ryu sleeps on the desk. Yeah, he sleeps right here. Ryu's room is off screen somewhere. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, where does he sleep? Alright, with that said, let's get a move on. Let's go to Sholmes' suite for some breakfast. 15th April, Sholmes' suite.
Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie.
Hello? Someone is struggling right now. Someone, like, just got into orchestra in, like, 6th grade in middle school and is, like, practicing for one of the first times in their room. And now it's the whole family's problem.
Good morning, Iris. My ears hurt.
Iris.
What is it, Runo?
What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Oh my god.
Yes. You noticed that, did you?
Of course it is. Of course it is. I like how he's not even animated doing it. It's just like... like he's holding the stick so hard onto the violin, it's making these terrible sounds. He's singing, actually. Yeah.
Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems.
Oh, thank God it's done. Hello. He's sad. He's so sad.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Good morning. Oh my god, he's so sad. A good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dried toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh! A kitty cat! Oh. It has a little bow tie! Oh! Oh look, it's Wagahai.
Good morning, boy.
Oh, a male calico. A rare sight. Suddenly, cat. Cat makes everything better. Sholmes is happy My Chemical Romance is back now. Oh. Burning on, just like a match you strike to incinerate. We are just British My Chemical Romance. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me. Oh no, he's cute and kind of hot when he's sad. Yeah, Ruuuvo, you missed his waistcoat reveal. As soon as he took off the trench coat, he has this little waistcoat underneath it. I knew that was the moment that everyone started thirsting for him. That's when you see it. Most people. He swallowed a squeaky toy. Oh my god. Let me catch up with chat here. Can verify band kids will make it everyone's problem. Fun fact, the terrible violin song was part of the official soundtrack, so if you're listening to the playlist randomized, prepare for pain. Amazing. Oh my god, he's my favorite now. Just realized he's playing the song that plays in the courtroom. Oh, I gotta listen to them back to back. I didn't recognize it. Angsty band kid confirmed. A good morning to die, perhaps, will destroy me every time. Band kid energy. Fun fact, the cat Wagahai is named after Natsume's book I Am a Cat, or Wagahai wa neko de aru in Japanese. Wagahai is a very haughty way of saying I that no one really uses, so it was kind of odd for Natsume to use it for the title of his book. Oh. Maybe because, like, cats often think very highly of themselves, like, I'm above everyone else. You have to ask me before you can pet me, you know, that kind of thing. So maybe that's why, but okay. I knew it was a reference, but I didn't know the reference, so thank you. I vaguely saw Herlock while I was driving, but I need to go back later and watch it. Yeah. We'll watch the VOD together after stream. Meow. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast.
Oh, wonderful.
Let me help you, Iris.
Oh, it would indeed be a fine day to die. This is literally like a teenager in middle school who's having a really tough time. I'm raising my hand because that happened to me. Who just is in a terrible mood every day. It's everyone else's problem. You can't cheer them up. They're just so sad all the time. Angsty. The angst is off the charts. Sholmes wrote My Immortal. I love him, Your Honor. My Chemical Romance. Oh my god. It would be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Oh yeah, the big machine. I forget what it did. Oh my god, look at him! Poor baby. Wanting to die. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melisonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I have bowed. For days, even. Through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever. No more recitals of unbridled emotion. I love when a character at any point is just like mopey and just like, so anyway. I just love the about turn so much. When I got to this part, I honestly forgotten that the machine existed, was so confused. I don't remember what the machine did, but I do remember there was some kind of machine there on the desk. I remember that.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry. I'm sure it will come back to you in time.
Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man. The next, they unmercifully withdraw it.
Oh dear.
Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin for me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left?
Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? The missing machine. Here we go.
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Well done, Miss Susato. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh, no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's at Windibank's now.
Sorry? It's at a windy bank? You said that last time.
No, Windibank's, the pawnbrokery. Pawn? What?
You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours?
It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you.
It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all.
It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
Oh, what's to understand exactly? How pawnbroking works. Okay. I'm gonna save real quick. Haven't saved in a minute. Yeah, the machine analyzes, but haven't seen it used to analyze stuff yet. Yeah, we didn't get to see it used at all. Sholmes, buddy. If I could draw Among Us Susato in 20 minutes and call it art, you can get good at playing violin again. I'm sorry, what? Among Us Susato. Oh. I can just imagine it in my brain. In my brain juice. How pawnbroking works. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works?
To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Banks?
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windibank's, you see.
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault.
Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? It's so funny because he's like legitimately teaching us something, but I just imagine he's saying it in the most mopey, sad voice ever.
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Can we move? Or can we look around? Maybe examine? So maybe we can talk to her? Yeah, let's talk to her. Wagahai. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy.
Oh! How did it take me this long? That was the cat from Natsume's apartment. I completely forgot about that cat. I was just like, oh, I guess they have a cat now. Like, I completely forgot that was the same cat. My bad. Okay, so that was Natsume's cat.
I've become very attached to little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews as empty as the hearts of the muses.
Oh! If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. The pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Oh.
Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Ruuuvo. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the Cat Flap-O-Mat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. But now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Cat flaps someone's face? That is terrifying to actually think about. That is horrible. Wagahai is a cute name for a cat. I think so too. Don't be sad, Sholmes. Your waist is so snatched. You can't be sad. Oh. Only Iris would invent an entire machine to make cat flaps. I love that for her. Sounds like a stand. Oh my god. Oh, the cat flapping someone's face. Oh my god. Meow.
Oh, what was that?
Wagahai? Clatter, clatter. Screech! What was that? He's so unbothered.
Oh no! Wagahai's tangled up in your violin, huh? I think he thinks it's a toy.
No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin.
Why should I care?
What?
I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? And he's making it everyone else's problem. Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Oh gosh. I guess we can look at it. Junji Ito's story, if I ever heard one. Yeah. Like, if you think about it seriously. There it is. My cats would never. They stay super away from string instruments. Wagahai's just built different. He built different. Well, maybe he heard the terrible playing, and he's trying to destroy it because he doesn't like the sound. Maybe. So this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. He talks so slow. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanched existence? No. There is none. Whatever happened to that Jester get thee to a nunnery character? When he said nun, it made me think of nunnery. Mr. Sholmes. What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Miss Osato?
Oh, Susie's right! Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different.
And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? I guess he's been playing on the wrong violin? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what?
I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
What?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you all right?
You're right! You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then?
Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
Oh, at the pawn shop! Oh, no! It sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Oh, no! That guy really said, get thee to a nunnery, and then dipped, honestly. You fool, Sholmes, you entire fool. The way you make him interrupt me. I gotta get into character! Mix-up. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this violin, sorry, this viola, I mean, was at Windibank's until last week.
At the pawnbroker's? Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. He's back to normal. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
Last week, I pawned my great anthelitoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windibank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw, a fine state of affairs this is. And why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbrokery as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, pressing your coffee so obtusely.
Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
We must visit Mr. Windybank's Brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Miss Susato, without a moment's delay.
But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg ever so obtusely?
Alright, say no more. Let's go then.
Don't worry, Runo. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like.
I'll show you fiddling!
Alright, I guess let's move. Alright. We've got Baker Street and Windybank's Pawnbrokery. I guess let's go to Baker Street. Why not? Let's look around a little bit. Look at all the different things in the window of this shop.
Ah, that's Windybank's, the pawnbrokery.
It looks much smarter than a pawnbroker's in Japan, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally.
It reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable.
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's much else to look at. Over here. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this.
Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodations...
Oh! She meant...
Oh, I know! To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. You will in the future! Your descendants! Alright, I think that's actually it. Okay. I'll never get over how much charm this game's entire soundtrack has. I love all of the Ace Attorney music, honestly. And yeah, particularly the Chronicles music is very, very nice. Charming is a great word to describe it. Alright. Look at all these little things. I immediately zoomed in on the little dolls with the googly eyes on the right. 15th April, Windybank's Pawnbrokery. There's so much to look at. Then there's a skull. So this is a British pawnbrokery.
Oh my, there are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before.
Sato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes. I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me.
She must love museums. Hey, Crane, just welcome in. It wouldn't be a busy storefront without a human skull. Just adds to the charm factor. My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, the waistcoat is gone. Like, like I know what he looks like without the trench coat now, but he looks so much better with the waistcoat. He looks so much better. All right.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure.
Would you stop pretend boxing towards her? Stop it! He's like actually making contact with her face. Stop it! Stop it! God. And clearly, Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes. We are potential customers, after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come, a fight is afoot. I guess, well, I want to look around first. Let's look around. There's so many things to look at. What are you doing, my dear fellows? Oh, okay. We are not here to browse for interesting curios. We have come to teach this broker a lesson.
Oh, but there are just so many fascinating items.
It looks as though we'll have to talk to Mr. Windybank first before you can explore in here, Mrs. Sato. Fine. Jeez. Time to go Karen mode, yeah. Oh. Alright, violin. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size.
A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There is only one way to make amends. I thought he ran. Ah! Ah! What are you doing? I shall have to take my own life. Hello! What the fuck? Stop it! Huh? Yeah, not with the nice music. Why is there jaunty music playing right now? Exactly. What the fuck is happening? I don't think that will be necessary, do you? His little smile. Put it down! If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Do not pop off, sir! We do not want you to pop off, as the kids say. No! Ah, yes? It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry. As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, ah, here it is. You did. And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. Oh. It's Sholmes' fault. It's your own fault. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. But I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow! The fault is mine! Sorry. Stop, my dear fellow! The fault is mine! He's on the floor. Would you put it down, please? Thank you. Phew. We're all collectively like, phew. I have to tell you all what was going through my mind during that whole cutscene. So he was like, there's only one thing I can do. And then he starts running, right? So at first I was like, oh my god, is he just running away? Like he can't face the angry customer, so he's just getting the fuck out of here. And then he grabs a gun, and he's just holding the gun, right? And he's running back, and I'm like, whoa! Whoa! Like, he's gonna kill us! For being upset customers! And then he put it to his head, and I was like, oh no! I was like, whiplash, like, like, oh my god. This game. This game is gonna give me a stroke. Yeah, it's like 3 twists in under 5 seconds, yeah. Keeping me on my toes. I found it hilarious that they animated him running the counter, grabbing the gun, and then running back. Yeah, it was so good. It was so funny. Like, there still would have been a shock factor if he, like, kind of, like, faded out and then faded back in and he had the gun, but, like, it was so much funnier that he actually, you could see him running. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh god. What's happening? What did I miss? Sholmes left a instrument here at the pawn shop. He came back, he got the wrong one and took it home, and now he's back trying to get his real instrument back, and the guy, thinking that it's his fault that Sholmes took back his wrong instrument, was doing that. That's the quickest explanation I can say. It wasn't a good one. It was not a good explanation, but that's what you're gonna get. Yeah, the whole scene was the community peaks at everything on fire scene energy condensed. Yes. Very, very succinct explanation there. Yes. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? Huh. I do believe you may be right, sir. Ah! Ha! 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 It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past. Oh? Peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work. Novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such. Oh my. A new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I have yet to read, you mean? Oh my god! Oh, forgive me! Stop it! Wait, before you die, you must tell me more! It's not... Put the gun down, stop it! It's... Tell me the story before you pull the trigger! Like, what? I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm being serious. I'm gonna go take a quick break. I'm gonna go get a little snack, some more water, and I'll be back. I'm gonna play some more of this. We've got like an hour left of stream about, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Feel free to use any of our fun commands that you'll see in chat in just a second. Stick around, grab some beverage, some snack. I'll be back soon! BRB. Alright, I'm back. Oh, whoa. Okay, there we go. It was completely silent, and I was like, I think there was music. I fixed it. Alright. Let me catch up with chat, see if I missed anything. So many clips, my god. So many memories. Sato's priorities are straight as a ruler. Sato, please. Will we survive Windabanks? Ask later. I'm taking a nap, says Magic 8. 79% love with Herlock. That's not bad. 90% love with Popeye's Blackened Ranch. Godot theme on the BRB is incredibly based, by the way. Thank you. And I actually chose that song before I got to Godot's part in the game, but even before I played Ace Attorney, I had heard that game and always liked it. And it just feels like very, like, break to me, like a cafe, you know? I mean, like a coffee themed, right? And I finally got to that part in the game and I was like, I made a good choice. I like this song. 63% love with the ranch. And yes, the trigger warning British is very appropriate for today. Alright. Oh, good night, PC Man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a good one. We'll see you later. Good night. Alright, back to this guy. Sato says,
Wait, before you die, you must tell me more.
oh my god, unpublished story.
I must know more. Tell me everything.
Wow, Sasato-san is really fired up now.
Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windibank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my store.
Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this?
I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely.
Of course, sir. Of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you. On my life. Put it down! This is all very strange. That is putting it lightly. My god. Good night, Arkham. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you later either way. Have a good week. Oh dear god, pawnbrokery. Okay. I wonder, could I ask you something?
Ah, a gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6p for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
Ah, for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic, Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say.
Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London.
Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. They appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned.
But what happens if they don't pay you the money?
Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me.
So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed, then?
That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all.
Please stop!
The very idea, Mr. Windibank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually.
Thank you. I don't know why Herlock is the one being reasonable today, but that's happening. It's Windibank's quirky character trait. I don't like it. I hate the animation stays there until you do something. Yeah, it makes me feel like I have to keep going because I don't want him to just be on screen like that forever. Should have said that earlier. Yeah, like the first time he did that. Says the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. And that's, yes, also very true.
And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs.
Oh, what sort of measures?
I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windibank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windibank?
Huh. What was that deep sigh about? Red-handed recorder. What on earth is a red-handed recorder?
Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 just below the ceiling.
Oh,
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Very astute. It is indeed a camera, furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop.
this is going to be important later. I can tell. I can tell.
Here, I have an example I can show you.
Got a picture of a real dog. That's like an actual dog in the photo frame from real life. I wonder if it's one of the devs' dogs. It's funny.
Ah, yes. A print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter.
Like a golden retriever.
I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness.
Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can see clearly the counter and the door behind it. Look.
So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed.
But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you say, my dear madam.
Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not 1, but 2 cameras in my shop, after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day.
Especially in these times, those are going to be super expensive.
I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us!
I almost thought he was going to take out the gun again! He was taking out the napkin, but I was like, stop. This man. He's going to do it too. I can't with this guy. He's stressing me out. I wonder if in universe the dog picture is just a dog drawing. Oh yeah, maybe it's like a painting in this world.
Heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winterbank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them... This would be the only answer. Stop! Stop it! Stop. Stop doing that. Please stop. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Yeah. Fear not! Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed.
That doesn't help at all! That's not really what I meant.
Good day to you, then, Mr. Winterbank.
We're just gonna leave him like that?
It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last.
Not with him doing that! Okay, he's calmed down. Jesus Christ. I feel like if I look at all the stuff in here, he's gonna do it again. I already know. There's an alligator up there. All kinds of stuff. This man is anxiety-inducing all the time. He gives me such terrible anxiety. He's stressing me out. Ryu, you should have said that a lot earlier. Everyone should have said things sooner. God.
Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there.
Mr. Windibank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. He'd have to be... Oh, he would have to be. Otherwise, he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. The gun. This revolver here. Yeah, just take the gun away. Can we just take the gun away from him, please? Just get it out of here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Windibank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size.
Oh, you don't mean he would...
Blow his brains out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder! Please stop. I don't like this at all.
Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it?
We're just glossing over this.
Okay.
Moving on! There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windibank keeps articles that are currently in pawn.
Ah, I see.
There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity. Recommended or not, it's not something I tend to do. Thank you for the clip. There is but one key, and Mr. Windibank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for, nor wish to retain.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder.
He watches him sleep. He's a creep! And the prime suspect if this pawnbrokery is ever burgled. Burgle-hurgled. Burgle-hurgled. Burgle. This pawnbrokery is going to cause more stress than any actual trial at this rate. Honestly, it already feels that way.
Look at this. What could this lovely, big, shiny box be?
That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country.
Oh my, yes. But I've certainly never seen one so large before.
Shall we listen a while?
Ah, what a sublime sound.
We're all gonna fall asleep now. Everyone do your sleepy emotes. Winding down. We're not thinking about the Windibank man and his stressful actions. We are calm, resting, hydrated, in our lanes. Yes. You're feeling very sleepy.
What a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played.
My goodness, what a simply delightful machine.
Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course.
Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace.
Oh girl, you got no idea. We've got YouTube now. Oh. Might be on the OST. Oh, I would hope so. Actually very pretty. I like the text sleepy emote.
What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn, or colloquially pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing.
Oh yes, now you've explained it. I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow.
My treasured university uniform?
Never! It embodies my student spirit.
His beloved uniform!
Alright, we got anything else?
Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does?
It seems to have two little windows for looking through.
Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope.
A Fascinating.
It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look.
Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today.
Alright then, I'm going to try it. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see! At once!
Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. Are we gonna... Oh my god. We're actually looking through it! What the... I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it.
Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them.
Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic?
It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Oh, I wonder if he just doesn't know how it works. So he's lying. Like, I'll tell you later. Okay. It's right under Sholmes' masterful violin playing from earlier. Amazing. 1800s 3D VR, yeah. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April, today's date.
Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winterbank.
And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Who was that?
Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. Something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job.
Alright, I think... Oh, there's more.
Look at this. Whatever could it be used for?
I have no idea.
Huh.
There's a small catch just here, look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Of course! Oh my, that's amazing. It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing! Nothing at all! Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere.
What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, and you know it. The article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more.
Sorry. I don't know who's talking. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter.
Come on, that can't be right. Have you been at a proper butcher's at it?
I've seen all I need to see, young girl. Of course. I knew it was her. Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her.
Oh yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilded's trial 2 months ago.
It's already been 2 months.
It is her.
Oh god. I was hoping I wouldn't have to voice Mr. McGilded anymore because he died. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. I can't. She's a chancer, earns her custom on large crowds of relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. I gotta get into the character. Top of the morning! Top of the morning! Top of the morning! I can't do the accent. Oh god. Okay.
Gordon Bennett, you lot!
Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. Did you stop? Why is everyone pointing guns everywhere in this game?
Eh? What? You remember me then, do ya?
Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure.
So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black coat, have ya?
What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Oh, good day. Unless I'm much mistaken, you would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes!
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf.
Who the other one? I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, I'll make trouble for you.
As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? Oh, it's one of the songs.
And you! Go on! Leave me alone!
Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest. Sasato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to.
Whatever.
Alright. She takes so long to load that thing. I know! It's like we're all just standing here watching her. I can't do the stereoscope thing because my eyes are weird. Sad. Oh. Yeah, Ruuuvo says my eyes are messed up, so I didn't find out till I was an adult that I literally can't see them. Yeah. So Ruuuvo's like that too. Also, for anybody who's new here in chat, Ruuuvo is my spouse and also my mod. The mod thing happened after we were together. But yeah. I tried during the segment just now, both when I played and while watching the stream, and I couldn't get it to work. Yeah, I guess that's just some people can't, like, cross their eyes, right? I can cross my eyes, and I can also make them go in different directions. So I didn't actually try it. I didn't cross my eyes. I was just looking at the screen normally, expecting something to happen. Wait, y'all are spouses? OG, are y'all spoused? Every single time. Every time. Ruuuvo won a marriage for being sub so long. Oh my god. This is a running gag that chat will pretend they don't know that me and Ruuuvo are married every time I bring it up. Every time. You can do the SpongeBob wall-eyed meme? I think so. It's basically, it just feels like I'm unfocusing my eyes. And when I look at Ruuuvo when I do it, they say that my eyes are like going different directions. I can cross my eyes, but I can't focus them well enough to do the stereoscope thing. I think it's because one of my eyes sees so much better than the others. The better eye just kind of carries my vision. Oh, okay, yeah. My eyes are technically the same way too, but I can cross them. But I don't know if I can do the stereoscope thing. I don't remember really trying, like, as a kid very much, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I have to show y'all what I'm talking about now. Okay. I can cross them. And then... I don't know if you can tell. It's doing it right now. I feel like I'm just like doing that. I don't know if you could tell. Eyeballs are weird. They are. Yeah, my eyesight is really terrible. Like, if I take off my glasses, I can't read chat. You couldn't tell? Okay. It's not super obvious. I saw it for a split second. Okay. It's kind of subtle. But I can move them apart, too. I was worried that I'm like, I don't know if you can tell, and my eyes were like doing this. But no, I can't do it extremely. It's very subtle. But it's really funny to do, though. Because, like, Ruuuvo will be talking to me, and then I'll just, like, do it on purpose to look like I'm not, like, here anymore. And I've gone to, like, another plane of existence. Yeah. Alright. Pawnbroker's customer. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who would use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade.
Yeah, well, I am, all right. I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That a problem, is it?
No, not at all. It's just that, well...
Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to here. And belong to her. Probably just got it on a dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase.
Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines.
You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Alright then. I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people?
Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose. Sometimes.
Of course. Why else would she steal things? To pawn them off and make money from them.
You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade? But not this time, all right, I swear. That thing belongs to me.
The disc that Mr. Windibank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Okay. My eyes are like that too. One is way stronger than the other, but I also have astigmatism and had lazy eye as a kid. Yeah. Like talking to Pennywise and mid-conversation, his other eye slowly starts to drift away. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I do to Ruuuvo. Just whoop. I think astigmatism hinders the stereoscope vision because the alignment will be off. Yeah, it sucks because, like, you know, like even in this game they're talking about it, but then some people just literally can't do it, so. Miss Lestrade.
Mr. Windibank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface.
Ah, this is a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box. In a music box?
What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh?
I know what a music box is. I've just never seen one of these discs before.
Stop being rude.
The small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box, you see. British-made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. I see. And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a packet of lies. He told me he did. He said it was, well...
He? Who?
Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
Ugh.
Gina Lestrade.
Hey, Jake. Howdy. Welcome in.
We're playing some more Ace Attorney.
At least the characters can experience it. I remember being so frustrated as a kid because everyone else would see the images and be excited, and I was just like, yeah, like, what are they talking about? I'm sorry. Man. Gina Lestrade.
She's been in before, of course, this little tattered Demalion.
I have never seen that word in my life.
I see. And brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me.
I don't know about that.
So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple. Sorry? What do you mean? What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket. So, Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing.
Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windibank.
The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed.
Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does.
So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all this?
Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn. The girl and I can agree a price.
New article. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say.
For this heavy black coat, which you returned to her care, as I'd understood it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a lady?
Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it. For quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think.
Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would.
Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place?
Well, me.
It doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man! It's me old man's, ain't it?
Is it, Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious.
Out of my way, please! Oh, hello. New character.
Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Fancy lad, oh my god.
Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I've a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Huh? Who are you? How'd you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy even to remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
What? You mean from you?
Broker. Yes, sir? I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say... Oh my god. He's a JoJo character. Any music box discs, too.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's, or it was. Now it's mine.
Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation.
Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Oh boy. So I guess we can go look at him too? Yeah. Alright. JoJo posing intensifies. I need you to know I was playing Fortnite with some friends and was wearing my Leon skin, and I maybe had him do the crab rave dance with me. What amazing. Yes, doing the Lord's work, exactly. This man radiates gay supervillain energy, and I am here for it. Same. I hope I'm doing him justice with the voice. It's so hard for me to think of, like, all these different voices and stay consistent with it, but I try. Alright. Speaking of voices, my throat is killing me from all of this voice acting. So we're gonna end it here. I think this is a perfectly good stopping point, and we'll pick back up with this tomorrow. I am going to be playing this every Tuesday to Friday around 8:30 p.m. Central Time until we get some new games in the roster. So I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central. If y'all want to come hang out with me once again, I would very much appreciate it. But either way, that is going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for the follow, Phila. Thank you. Alright, let's save here. And we'll do more tomorrow. Let's switch over. Great stream. Thank you! And thank y'all so much for joining in that raid before and sticking around and hanging out. I very much enjoyed y'all's company. And I appreciate it, so thank you. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. There's my social media, most active on Twitter and YouTube. We also have a Discord open to anybody if you'd like to join, and that is the best place to be for stream updates and stuff like that. We also post memes in there and share pet pictures and things like that. And there are the raid messages if you want to join. But yeah, either way, I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time with some more Ace Attorney. But I hope y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!